Okay, I saw this one guy's video, and he's talking about Fantasy Island. Oh, the Mandela effect. You gotta mention that when you first start off, right? This one guy's video talking about Fantasy Island and Tattoo. How where he's from, Tattoo said, boss, the plane, the plane. And I remember him never saying, boss, the plane. I thought I remembered it from season 1 or 2. I'm thinking, well, perhaps the earlier version, and then they normally start off with something longer, and then they'll cut it down shorter. But I remember him saying just the plane, the plane. Now I actually like the plane better because it's just quick to the point. It's shinier. It's just not dragged out. That's the funniest part is when he says the plane, the plane. But he does. I think he still says, good morning, boss. Good morning, boss. And then he's like, good morning, Tattoo. But here's the thing. This guy said that it's missing now. Boss, the plane, the plane. I remember about 4 or 5 years ago, I was looking at all the old TV shows, and I saw that version where it says, boss, the plane, the plane. And now it says the plane, the plane. It's back to where it was when I was a kid. But all the other stuff still has changed. Like a lot of stuff has changed. From honeycombs to Kennedy assassination. A lot of the bone structure. But I think when I saw boss, the plane, maybe all of us that think we're from the same place aren't from the same place after all. I thought that it was like a shift of two realities. It could still be that, but it might be a little bit more mixed. Like, example, if you have a place, I don't even know how to put this. He can be from a place where it says, boss, the plane, but where honeycombs with honeycomb. It's still different, honeycomb. So those are two different things than what I know. But then he might have 3 or 4 memories that I know that are gone. If you have 150 different things that are different here in this reality, some people might only know 10 things that are different. That means they're from a whole other place. Some might see the whole 150. Some might have 144. We can all be from different parallel universes. And there's like so much that we don't know that's missing because we can't go back in time and see when we were kids. I mean, for the most part, I have this guy here, the body I took has like the same history. There's a lot of similarities and stuff. I look at the pictures and everything. I see baby pictures of me. But who knows? It could have been a girlfriend I don't know about, or a fight I got into when I was younger. I don't remember, or don't know about, not remember, but I don't have that memory of it because I'm not. And I always thought that, this is the weird part. I always thought that the brain stored the memory. Okay, this is the part that gets tricky. If the brain stores the memory, then how could we have left our bodies behind? Because our bodies have changed. How could we have left our bodies behind, but brought the memory with us? And then we got the person, our alternate person, our alternate self in this reality. My lungs weren't like this before. My rib cage was different. My skull was different. So I assume I have a different brain too. And if not here, how about some other places? But I'm pretty sure the whole body's changed. I'm sure. So maybe it hasn't. But how could we have the memory of some other place if this isn't the same place? You see what I'm saying? If this is a different place, how do we have the memory of the other place if our brains can't go with us? Is what I'm trying to say. Well, I don't know. Did some of our... No, because my entire memory is intact. So how could we have... I'm trying to figure this out. How can we have the memory, a full memory of the other place? And I don't know, but like I said before, I've actually parallel shifted before, and now I have found out that CERN isn't the only one. There's all these other places messing around with dimensions. There's like places similar to CERN that are smaller all over the world. They've been doing this for decades, which explains why I have a different history than, The first place I remember, the buffalo were extinct. completely annihilated. Gone. A smog used to come down sometimes on the way to school. We had to hold our breath. We couldn't go out to recess. It was like a fog, but it smelled like when you go to Tijuana. Had that same smell of like the vehicle smell, the cars. And I remember we couldn't breathe it in. It was hazardous. And by 1980, when I was 10 years old, I never heard of this stuff ever again. I didn't think about it. It just never happened again. And now that I think about it, it's like that was a reality for a few years. Another thing is when I moved into the studio in 1990, my brother called me and says, "Hey dude, I'm a Trekkie." My brother calls me and says, "Dude, they're going to have a Star Trek Next Generation." I was like, "Oh, cool." So I remember watching the TV show The Flash, and I saw a preview of the Next Generation, and I kept thinking, "Oh, I can't wait for it to come out." It was like 1990, you know. And I know for a fact, because I was living here, I didn't move here until 1990. And I remember seeing previews of Next Generation for a couple of months, and it finally came out. I liked the show. You know, Data and Picard and Wolf and Counselor Troy. But the thing is that my brother tells me now, and that tells me something right there. My brother tells me now that the Next Generation was out in 1987. And I'm like, "Oh, dude, it was 1990, and he swears it was 87. So I looked, and it was out like 86, 87. So even though me and him have the same memories of most everything I've mentioned so far, that dawns on me that he's probably an alternate brother too, because if he has a memory of it being out in 87, Next Generation, though I remember him calling me and telling me it was going to come out on TV in 1990, that person that called me isn't here. How weird, huh? How weird. Oh, another cool thing, which is cool, and I want to let you guys know, there's all these different theories. I swear I really believe we parallel shifted to a new dimension, or a parallel universe. Because the devil, I'm a Christian, the devil cannot raise the dead. And there's people that were dead that are now alive. And the devil can't raise the dead. And that thing, when you're a Christian, it helps provide other information. Like that, for example. I thought we're on a spaceship maybe? No. You know, the hologram? No. Same timeline? No, because the devil can't raise the dead. And I noticed too that it proves that you really are who you are, because when we parallel shift, we go back into our bodies. We go into another version of ourselves. But like, I didn't jump into your body, you didn't jump into my body. And that kind of shows you how, you know, like the Bible says, when you die, you get new bodies. God's going to give you a new glorified body. And this is proof that He can do it, you know, in my mind. Another thing, which is interesting, is they can't tell you it's fake memory, because if you live in a house for 5 years and then you move away and then you go back there and people say, "No, you never lived there." You go back to visit somebody, you know, and you go, "Oh yeah, I used to live across the street, remember, for 5 years." And then they go, "No, you never lived there, but you know for sure you lived there for 5 years." That can't be a fake memory. Things that are embedded in our life, that are every day in our life, constantly, cannot be a fake memory. There's something else too, but I can't remember what it was. I'm pretty sure we parallel shift to a new parallel universe, but it's more of a drift because there's residue. If you look around for the hints, you kind of get the hints. I mean, no one knows exactly what's happening, but it points to CERN, because you have scientists all over the place that are playing with parallel dimensions, and now you have a mass of people. No one knows how big this really is. We say thousands. It's probably millions. Not everyone is noticing it. I didn't notice it. You go out. I mean, what did I notice? The Star Trek thing? I knew he was wrong. Then I said, okay, that kind of bothered me. But then what? A few names on cereals and stuff? People might not be noticing what's even happening. I guarantee you there's millions. And then the people that remember everything exactly the way it is, they're from this timeline. This is where they're from, so we can't get mad at them. And we can't be upset because they don't believe us, because, come on, we don't believe people when they tell us stories either, do we? What else? Anything else? Well, We are hundreds of millions of light years from home. If this is a parallel shift, which in my mind is a parallel shift. I mean, damn, my spine's different, my lungs are different, my rib cage is different, islands have moved, Australia has moved. There's a lot of differences here. We are in a parallel universe, which means physically, I mean, I keep thinking about how weird this is. Like, I can't believe this is real. Like, I go to my old place in Encanto by Lemon Grove. I grew up there for 20 years, and I go there and I look at our old house, my grandfather's old house. I buried my dog there. I grew up there. All my friends were on the same street. You know, baseball games, go-karts, riding go-karts down the street, everything. Cardboard down the grass hill, look for tadpoles, everything. And I drive through there, I look at it, and I go, wow, it's over here. It's still here. It's over here on a planet called Earth that's hundreds of millions of light years away. That's fascinating. That you got to admit that does kind of make you feel kind of good in a way, doesn't it? I mean, it can be depressing in one way, and in another way it feels good because it's like, wow, we parallel shifted. This is like in a movie, you know? And here we are, like hundreds and hundreds of millions of light years away from home. We'll probably never see our home ever again. And there again, for me, which home is which home? Because there again, I mean, I remember parallel shifting, like I said, when the buffaloes were extinct and that smog came down. I was 9 years old. And then, like, by the time I was 10, 11, 12, it was already gone. So that was probably already one parallel shift. I don't know. Just weird things. I do remember one time I had a leather bracelet. I actually borrowed it from my mom. It was this ugly old orange leather bracelet. I put it on my wrist a couple of times. It was on the third hole. And then one day I went to go grab it from the closet and wear it. And there was no holes in it. It had the thing, you know, the metal stick thing for the holes. So I showed my girlfriend and I go, I got some holes. And she goes, well, maybe you cut it. And you know, I mean, you just don't remember. I said, no. I said, if you look at the tip of the belt, you can still see the stitch. You know how the tips of the belt have that stitch? I go, I didn't cut it. And then she goes, well, maybe it didn't have the holes to begin with. And I said, then what is this for? And I showed her, you know, that metal stick thing that goes through the holes. And she was like, wow, that's a good point. Because it's like, well, why would it have holes if there's, you know, why wouldn't it have holes if there's one of those metal stick majiggers, whatever you call it, that goes through the hole? Well, I just thought that was really strange. You can tell the belt. Let me see if I can show you this one. You know what I mean? It has the stitch. See how in the corner? Oh, this one doesn't have it. It's a newer belt though. But it usually has a stitch in the corner. And then it has the metal. See whatever this thing is. Well, the bracelet thing had this part of it, this right here, but it had no holes. And the tip of the other side of the belt had a stitch where you could tell no one cut it. But there were holes there because I remember I would always put on the third hole, and the third hole was getting stretched. And it was my mom's, and she had it for years before that, so the holes were gone. It's just weird stuff like this. My whole life has been bizarre. I've had a really strange life. Not to mention, I ain't saying nothing more. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. And I'm just wondering about, you know, if all of us are really from the same place or if we're really from other places. We could even be from a place that might have 2 or 3 differences. So I don't think that we're all really from the same place. We're probably from places that are similar, very similar, but I don't know if it's the same exact place. Because when that guy said that, I go, wow, I remember his videos. He said that he remembers this, and everything I remember. But when he said he remembers tattoos saying boss, the plane, I don't remember tattoos saying boss until I looked back to see it about 5 years ago. And that's when I remember for the first time tattoos saying boss. So if you remember that years ago, that doesn't fit my timeline. That one thing makes a big difference. Because that means that me and him were hundreds of millions of years apart right there. So that doesn't mean that we're all from the same place. It's a parallel shift, more of a drift because you see residue. You're seeing stuff in newspapers that confirms. It's more of a drift. We're not completely over yet. It's not over because if it was completely over, you wouldn't have contradictions. That's a solid place. Unless we're stuck in some in-between place. That's going to be weird if we're stuck in some place that's constantly in between, like some kind of a purgatory in the parallel dimension world. I mean, think about it. They're saying no, this never happened, that never happened. And then you go look, and on live performances, they sang them in the song, but not on the original. And then if you look in magazines, they wrote like Winona Ryder with the Y, even though it's with an I now. Things like that. They don't match up. Where I'm from, things normally match up unless it's a typo. Well, here, I guess typos don't really count because there's all this like mismatch stuff that has nothing to do with the typo. Those are like inconsistencies, and that kind of alarms me a little bit. That is a little alarming. What does it mean? You know, what does it mean? I mean, I'm just coming up with a theory that we're like merging or something. So, someone else said something along the same lines that it's two places coming into one. You know. And who knows? We really don't know, but we could have came to a worse place. I don't want to, be a fear monger or whatever, but look at, there's all this stuff with the Illuminati and the devil symbols that are everywhere. I don't know if that stuff was on the stuff where I come from because I didn't even know about the Illuminati until about 4 or 5 years ago. I can't go back and look at the Disney symbol now and see if there's a 666 in Walt Disney in the name. There's all the satanic stuff all over the place, So what if those assholes, and I hate to cuss, what if those assholes shifted us, and now we're in some place where the Antichrist is going to rise up and kill us? You know what I mean? See, we just don't know. We don't know. Some people say, don't get mad. Why are you mad at them? It's just the point that you don't have a right to move me. I didn't give no one permission to move me. That's just the whole point of it. People just don't realize because it's okay for them doesn't mean it's okay for everyone else. We have a right all of us have a right to our private property, and that's the end of statement. Now, if you say it's okay they moved you, you're talking for yourself. You ain't talking for me. You ain't talking for Lisa, Lindy, or Tom, or Bob. Everyone has a right to their private property, which is your body, which is your soul, which is the air in your lungs, which is the blood in your veins, the car you own, the job you're at, whatever you have, which is yours, and when they move you, they steal you from it. They murder it. They murder you. They murdered me from my other home. They killed my body. Being at the other location. It's a crime. It's exciting though in a way, in the scientific way. It's exciting, to know that we traveled so far. But at the same time, it is a crime. Thanks for watching.